What is up, my viewers? Spang here, bringing you a World of Tanks gameplay commentary. This time it is something a little different, something I have not done in a long time. It is a commentary on one of my games, and this will be a back-to-back. This will be two games right next to each other, and I have intentionally chosen two games with somewhat of a common theme, and you should be able to guess it from the both the name of the back-to-back as well as the description. Now, here early on I said the enemy team has a slight advantage, but I say it's still close enough to win. Now, that's a perceived advantage. It is just a matter of tanks I would prefer to have on my team instead of the tanks I have, such as that T30. I would take that T30 over a KV4 any day, and stuff like that. I'd take a Yogg Tiger over a 4502P, and so on. But overall, the teams are pretty even. Nothing too significant. The enemy team also having a slight artillery advantage, as you can tell. 3 tier 6 artilleries versus our 2 tier 6 and our 1 tier 5. Now, this is a standard battle on Live Oaks. It is the only type of battle on this map. And here, I'm playing a little defensively. This T50-2, this dasher, kind of getting way back in our lines. And right here, I'm going to try and take my own shot at him, but I miss. Still, my team manages to kill him, preventing our artillery from meeting an early demise, which I'm sure they are more than grateful for. Our 4502 still telling them to move, though, because there is a slight chance that they have been spotted. Now, if they have 6th sense, they should know whether or not they've been spotted. And right here, you can tell I'm using these billboards as kind of a cover to really get out there and get a free shot on this Yogg Tiger and then fall back to cover. And yes, it's destructible cover I'm using. If these get shot, I am left out in the open, but at the same time, it is still cover. And that one shot that goes towards destroying this gives me time to get away. And right here, I'm playing defensively because I realize there's not too much going in the town. Well, we have that T34, but he got really lit up by artillery. But at the same time, I also recognize that this 1390 was probably going to be coming at us, and I'd light him on fire. Oh, I'm sorry, the M48A1 lit him on fire. We double tapped and we hit him at approximately the same time, just ruining his day in 10 seconds flat, you know, just ensuring that he was not going to get back and spot our artillery. This T34 certainly going to meet his doom if he doesn't do anything about it. And here's what I'm talking about: destructible cover, keeping me alive and keeping my damage to a minimum, but artillery kind of ruining my day here, in that T110E5 being the one to damage my ammo rack. Now, I will repair that here very shortly. Ammo racks are one of those things I feel an urge to just fix as quickly as possible, although sometimes I do debate it. If I am at a ranged engagement where I can just fire and fall back and play that game of you take a shot, I take a shot, I may postpone it until I really deem it absolutely necessary. Now, this T110E5 on the enemy team still has yet to take any damage. I've taken minimal damage. I haven't really been too severely hurt, but at the same time, I recognize this town is quickly turning into a Charlie Foxtrot, as I'm going to say it. And that I'm best sitting back, especially considering I'm not sure if there's going to be any more fast movers coming up that little center line near the lake. And I want to protect our artillery. I do have our medium tank here with me, which should be that, it should be either an E50 or an M48A1. I believe it is the M48, but I'm not 100% sure. Actually, if you just bear with me a second, I am going to look, and it is the M48, so I was right. There we go. The enemy team's putting a significant number of tanks in the town. Our team has the ability to eliminate them, but at the same time, they are pushing themselves way too far forward, not really giving me any opportunities to support them. That T34 essentially getting shot at by everything in the town because he extended himself too far. He went out in the open and got himself shot by everything. Now, that is a common mistake. That is the most common mistake, I believe, that you will see people do that will end in their death. They will push too aggressively alone and run into 2, 3, 4 enemy tanks by themselves and get shot and killed in a very short amount of time. And if you can just avoid doing that, if you can just take a second to think about what you're going to do before you do it, see this T110E5 making almost that same mistake, although to his in his defense, he probably didn't know I was here. And so he's probably going to die very shortly. The team's pretty even at this point. Our losses, yeah, they're a bit heavier. We've lost 3 tier 8s. The enemy, we've lost 4 tier 8s. The enemy team has lost 3 and 1 tier 5. So our loss is a bit more significant. But at the same time, we still have a chance to win this. And here the team's kind of both losing a couple tanks in a very short amount of time. I'm trying to get a shot on this T34. I thought I only had a shot on his track, but realizing after the fact I did have a shot on his main body and turret, which I should have been aiming for. This Jagdtiger, I'm kind of waiting for him to kind of just back out a little bit too much and expose himself. Now, if you were paying attention in the south on the minimap, which you probably were not, considering I wasn't drawing attention to it, our team had a significant push, but again, they overextended themselves, got bombarded by artillery. If you're wondering why artillery hasn't really been showing itself that much up in the north, it's because they were supporting the enemy team's southern defense. And our team, like I said, pushed a little too aggressively, got themselves out in the open, and then destroyed. So that southern push basically getting itself overwhelmed due to the fact they were a little too eager to rush in without really knowing the situation. Now, I'm telling the M48 to reposition so that he can go defend our artillery from anything that may be pushing in the south. Enemy artillery now trying to ruin my day slightly, but I will kill that T34, my first kill of the match. This E75, I want to help him, and right here I'm saying, you know what, I might just have to shoot underneath the guy if he doesn't really give me an opportunity. And I can't recall if that's what I did. Now, these replays are old, and they are 7.5 if you haven't figured that out. This enemy's second Jagdtiger actually coming in to try and help out. I'm going to take a shot, the one shot I really had, and not get anything whatsoever in that. Now, this Jagdtiger, he will meet his demise. He just got himself right out in the open. Yes, he had his frontal armor facing me, but that wasn't enough to stop me from blowing him up via that underplate. And this T62 Alpha, the only type of T62, if I'm not mistaken. Although, isn't the Scout? I cannot recall what the Tier 6 Russian Scout is. It's a 60-something. But anyway, the Tier 10 medium tank over there, certainly near his, at the end of his life, I just have to hit him once. Enemy artillery trying to ruin my day, and I'm trying to figure out where I should go so they can't shoot me. And at the same time, I can't really pull forward anymore because that, that tank destroyer is there. This T62 pushing himself out a little bit too far, but it won't end in his death because I will only knock off his track. Now, our M48 did fall back, and he is trying to defend our artillery, which is now getting destroyed by counter artillery. That T34 managing to kill that T62, and this Jagdtiger coming in close, trying to kill me, and artillery doing their best to help me there, doing a great job of it, and basically making that Jagdtiger go from being completely on the offensive to being defensive. Now, I got a little bit eager there, took a shot that I really didn't have, and we're kind of in a game of standoff here. That T34 looks like he's hitting that Jagdtiger with some good shots, and I'm going to get a little bit aggressive here, actually, because I recognize that my position is not ideal, especially since enemy artillery is probably repositioning to basically hit me behind that house. So I'm going to move up on this Jagdtiger and try to finish him off, but artillery will beat me to it. Our artillery doing very well for themselves, and I'm going to attempt to help this Patton, help our M48 and artillery against that Patton. And like I said, I wanted the M48 to start moving over there earlier, so he might have been able to intercept those tanks further down the line and not let them get so close to our arty and spot our artillery. Now, this KV4 is pushing up as well. The M48 losing his life. Our team basically looking like they've lost at this point. I mean, yeah, sure, the enemy team only has 2 tanks left, and we have 2 tanks left, but they have 3 artillery pieces, which, if they reposition correctly, can kill me quite easily. That Patton, now a one-shot thanks to that M4043's last efforts. That KV4 is hurt, but he is not a one-shot. He is certainly going to take a bit of softening up. And the T34 feeling the urge to move towards our base and engage the enemy. Now, right here, I'm doing the smart thing. I'm just kind of staying behind cover best I can to defend our base. I have a clear line of sight on our base. There is nothing in our base preventing... Oh, I was wrong. That KV4 is a one-shot. If I can just penetrate him without hitting spaced armor. I know the game said penetration, but it hit spaced armor, so it didn't go all the way through. I hope they change that in 8.0, which I have yet to play, because of all these 7.5 replays. Yes, I have downloaded the game version of 8.0, but it is... I haven't taken the time to play it. Anyway, I digress. So the KV4 and Patton both one-shots. The enemy team should have a clear idea of where I am at this point, which means enemy artillery should be repositioning to ruin my day. And you know what? I'm just trying to stay alive. That is my goal at this point. Deny the victory. And basically picking up the slack from the rest of my team. That southern push going so poorly. This T34 doing very well for himself. And me, I'm starting to get a little ballsy here, but then I quickly rethink my actions. I was moving up to go support that T34, but I'm going to rush for what I can here. I'm going to basically fall back to cover. I cannot recall if I go to that house right there, that partially destroyed house. No, I completely fall back. I knew I went behind cover somewhere, because that is the absolute wrong thing to do at this point. I do not want to go out in the open. I do not want to make myself an easy target for artillery. And right here, I'm trying to play a bit of mind games with artillery. I'm also expecting an artillery piece to come up and try and flank me. So I'm just doing a bit of recon here, making sure no artillery is sneaking up on me. And then I'm going to go back and watch our base and play the defensive player yet again, trying to pick up the slack for my team, which got itself destroyed in the south, and a few of them made poor decisions in the city, causing the city to get overrun as well. The KV-4 meeting his doom, and now it is me versus 3 artillery. A situation which the artillery is definitely in a position to win, but it's no longer a long shot anymore. Had I brushed out to engage that KV-4 like I was going to, I would probably be dead at this point. And I'm just trying to kind of stay alive and engage artillery, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Enemy artillery moving up to try and flank me and go TD mode. Not only go tank destroyer mode, but also spot me for their buddies. They only need one up on the front line to spot me while the other 2 shell me to death. Which, I'm sorry, excuse me. Which is exactly what I'm trying to... Oh, right there. I took a shot from that M12. I was trying to bait a shot, but I will eliminate him in one shot. Plus side of actually hitting for my average damage or a little more. And the enemy team doing a very unfortunate hit right there and knocking out my optics, which basically means if artillery decides to try and sneak up on me, they have a much better chance of doing it. So it is down to 1 tier 7. Wow, I did not realize that the enemy team... Never mind, I digress. I just... in the game I'm saying, damn, my viewports are down. Like I said, that's going to make it a lot harder for me to spot those enemy artillery, and as well as the fact that I've already used my repair kit, so I can't repair that. At this point, reload rate isn't too much of a concern, considering even with a damaged ammo rack, I would still reload before the enemy artillery reloaded. So it's not a battle of reloading, it's a battle of who sees who first and who hits who first. Now this this GW Panther, they're Panthers of the same thing, whatever. But making a smart move, falling back, and right here I'm getting absolutely wrecked, and I have no repair kit to fix that track. So it looks like it could be the end of the line for me. This GW Panther playing cautiously. If I were him, I might have tried to just blitz over the hill, hope I survived that one shot, and right here I'm trying to bait a shot from him. At the same time, I'm just trying to move and juke a little, trying to make sure that Object 212 misses. It's going to come down to a bit of luck here, and a bit of skill, a bit of mind games, and definitely positioning. I'm not sure where that Object 212 is, but for me, I'm just trying to survive here. This GW Panther doing his best to spot me, and that is the role he is committed to, is just spotting me. But, like I said, if I were him, I probably would have blitzed over the hill, hoped that the T110 hit me for his average or less, which would have left me alive with 10 or more health, and at that point, I would shoot and kill him. But now he's getting ballsy after the fact, and see, right there, that's why I said, the odds were in his favor, even if only slightly, that he would survive. And right here, I'm going to pop around the corner and try to shoot him. He's not feeling comfortable shooting me, and we're both in uncomfortable positions here. I'm almost reloading. I'm going to run out and shoot him before he's even ready, because I recognized he was on the move, and his accuracy was not even close to perfect. And right here, I'm just trying to move around and get to what cover I can, barely avoiding that Object 212 shot right there. I'm saying, woo, close. So it is basically a draw at this point. It's not that much of a surprise. That 212 is way too far back. There's no way I could get to him in time, especially because I don't know where he is. If I had to guess, I would say he's probably over near the train tracks, probably from the 6th line down and over. But it's the T110E5 on the other team saying he loves those draws. And I basically said, you know, victory request denied, enemy team. Try again later. And like I said, I basically had to pick up the slack for my team, which really left it all up to me at the end. I went from having no kills for like the first half of the match to getting 5 kills in the second half. Right here I say I tried my best, but it wasn't quite there. But hey, for me, in these circumstances, a draw is a win. So I get a decent amount of experience, definitely a decent amount of credits. I made a profit, one of the plus sides of premium. The only battle hero going to that E50 on my team for sniper. Or, yeah, he was on my team. I just had to double check that for a second. So 5 kills, 4 damages, and 2 detects. Both the detects were on artillery. Not the most accurate game I've ever had, but you know, it is what it is. And I felt completely satisfied and just basically shutting out that enemy team. They wanted to win, and I said, no. And that was that. Anyway, so catch me back in just a second when I will continue this back-to-back replay in my T34. And we're back right with my T34, just like I said. Now, teams are pretty even, and this is a standard battle on Siegfried Line. It's been a while since I've played a standard battle on this map, and I was definitely looking forward to it. Now, I did have to review this replay just to kind of remember what exactly happened before I went into it, but I quickly recalled, and man, oh man, yeah. Anyway, you'll see what I mean very shortly. But right off the bat, I have it for the city because in my T34, I definitely feel most confident in it. I like working in the city as heavy tanks, especially in city maps I know where all the little nooks and crannies are, where I can just kind of pop out with mostly my turret exposed and take shots at the enemy. And this is one of those maps, as you can see, I'm abusing this hill right here. I'm kind of saying, yeah, tier 5 and tier 4 artillery, what are they going to do to me? I'm not really too concerned about it, so I'm playing a little less cautiously. And this KV-1S almost driving right in front of me, but I quickly divert my attention to this M6, which is looking like he's gonna get himself killed very shortly, especially if I can help it, and I will attempt to, but I hit him for no damage. Not quite sure what happened there. Apparently the M6 has spaced armor, or his tracks ate it. I'm not quite sure what happened, but do I get the shot and kill? But no, I don't. Again, hitting the M6, no damage. Apparently it's proving to be a bit more robust than I previously believed. Now right here I'm going to take a shot at the M6 yet again and completely miss. Either that or I'm not quite sure what happened. I might have hit the low behind him but bounced. It's hard to say. Now, the enemy team has sent pretty much most of their tanks to the city as well. So it's going to be a city brawl this time. And I think might just be a force of habit from all the encounter battles. Although, if I recall, even before encounter battles were introduced to this map, the city tended to be the main battleground. Now, I will hurt that low right there. And I'm having some concerns about how our team is doing. But at the same time, our losses are minimal. We've lost 2 tier 6s and a tier 4 in a tier 8 match. That's not too significant. And the only thing the enemy team has lost is that tier 4 arty. That was never going to be much of a factor anyway. And there's a light tank to the 0 line. I'm going to just stop trying to use east-west because I always seem to mess it up every now and again. And here the M41 hitting me, like I said, he hit me for all of what? 87 damage. Like I said earlier, I'm not too concerned about the impact of tier 4 and 5 artillery on me as a tier 8 heavy tank. Now, this T34, on the other hand, definitely something I am concerned about. And this Panther 2 to my side, yeah, also something I'm concerned about. I'm going to definitely prioritize him over that T50-2, especially considering how far away our artillery is being located in the field. Now, there's a Panther 2, there's a T34, there's another T34 in a little to the west. I know I said I wasn't going to use directions, but I lied. Deal with it. Panther 2 engaging the other T34 on our team, and by all rights, he's going to die. He should die, especially if I am going to continue to be in a position to help our other T34, and we can just both double team him. That T34 should be able to eliminate him very shortly. Not sure what hit him there. If I had to guess, I'd say artillery possibly splashed him, and there we go, a T20 on our team helping to finish him off. I don't know what happened with that T34, but he should have been able to eliminate that Panther 2 a lot quicker. Perhaps he was just not in a position and the Panther 2 was so close that all he could shoot was his turret and was bouncing shots. Or maybe he's a new player and he's a wallet warrior and he hasn't played that many matches yet. You just can't be sure sometimes. Now, that KV-13 rushing forward and getting himself killed, again, like I said, the most common thing that will get you killed in this game very quickly. Now, we have pulled ahead from our early disadvantage, and we should be able to win this 9-7 at this point. And the enemy team, the thing to keep in mind is they still have 3 tier 8 tanks left. So that can be a very strong indicator that they still have a fighting chance, but we have 4 tier 8s left. So we have an advantage, though this T34 is at full health, or rather he was close to at full health, and now he is no longer. That Type 59 kind of rushing out, getting himself in a bad position, but he's going to attempt to get himself out of that position very quickly. This low coming out to try and get a shot, and he will eliminate that M18, which tier 6 and a tier 8. Yes, every tank helps, but we could have had a more significant loss there. The enemy team closing the gap ever so slightly. And yes, we have a 1 tank lead, but really we have the same number of tanks because we have 2 artillery, they have 1. So we will see how this pans out. I mean, not like I don't know how it pans out because it is my game, but you can see I'm playing the ambush style. I have my tank ready and waiting to take a shot should the enemy tank drive out. And he's going to be driving out, he's going to be unaimed, and he's going to have to spot me. And there we go, that's exactly what I'm talking about right there. I get a free shot because he isn't aimed. He's dealing with that weird way guns interact when they're close to buildings, and that low is now a 1 shot for me. The enemy team has closed the gap altogether. Losses are very even on both sides. This T34 driving himself right out there and getting himself exposed. So my team doing well for itself at this point, and we just lost our advantage. The T34 to the 0 line right there, you can tell he's coming up on my rear, and I recognize that. I realize this is a problem because I'm about to be fighting 3 tier 8s from 2 different directions, and pretty soon to be 3 different directions because the way that low is moving. Now that Type 59 should be able to kill that low, but a spoiler, he won't. He's going to get himself eliminated. The M41 on our team getting itself killed by the M41 on the enemy team. I'm not even sure how that happened. The T20 on the enemy team, not sure where he is. And this T34, I'm going to take a shot without waiting for the proper aim, and that will come back to bite me. But right here, I do bounce a shot because he either hits my gun mantle on my turret, or I just had such a slope on my frontal armor. I'm not quite sure which because of the way the camera was facing. But at the same time, I realized I can't stay where I was due to the fact that T34 is coming up behind me. And here that low is coming up behind me on that other direction, and I have a T34 in front of me. Like I said, I am surrounded on all sides, and I have no idea what that T28 is doing. He really should be in a better position to be helping me. And here I'm going to try and kill this low. I will succeed. And so, oh wow, that I think I just found the explanation to it a little. Nope, I am wrong. For a second I thought the top guys on the enemy team were a platoon Russian standard clan, which they do have a reputation for being very good at this game, or at least they did. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've played. I'd say it's been at least a month. And right here I'm going to try and take some shots here. I fired that shot. I got a little trigger happy and took a shot I did not have. That could end up proving to be a fatal mistake. But the KV-1S getting a shot on me, but that T-34, they both just bounced on me right there. Again, I'm in a bit of a panic mode here because of how bad my position is. And if that T-28 had moved up to help me, had he actually been a little more aggressive and been in a position to where he could have been watching my 6, that T-34 that just drove up behind me would have never gotten there. I would have not been in as much of a panic, and both these tanks would have been dead in front of me, and we would have won. So right here, I'm going to call that T28 absolutely useless. He has no kills, and he is near death, actually. He has less than half health. As you see right now, he's done virtually nothing for our team. He just sat back, way back near our base, while the enemy team ran up on my 6 o'clock and completely overwhelmed me by going, 3 and 4, 2, 3, 4 versus 1. And had he actually been more of a team player, he could have saved me and we could have won this. Instead, I was left trying to fight off, 3 of the enemy team at the same time, and that pretty much never ends well. So I'm saying he better win this for us, because the tanks that are left on the enemy team, they are all one-shots. And seriously, had he been a better team player, I would still be alive. This match would not even be nearly as close. And right here, I'm cursing him out a little too, because of how annoyed I am at him for how bad he is playing. But I'm saying, don't base your side armor to them. You're a T28 prototype. You actually have frontal armor that they will have trouble getting through. Use your tank's strengths. You are a tier 8 tank destroyer. You should have earned that tank. You should know how to play that tank. You should know how to play this game a really bit better. And here I call him a noob, because and someone I think just called me useless. And I'm like, I have 3 kills. He has 0. Who are you calling? Let me go back and actually find that exact comment, because I want to make sure I'm speaking actually knowledgeably about this. Oh yeah, the T28 on my team. That T28. Yeah, the T28 basically saying, where are you, T34? I'm like, I'm the guy with 3 kills. How many do you have? Yeah. So if you can't tell, I am raging so hard this match. I am so just perturbed at this T28 player for being as useless as he did. And I lied a little earlier. That T20 isn't a one-shot for him. But you know what? A T28 should be able to easily kill a T20. And apparently, he's using HE. I'm guessing, and I say, who really uses HE except for tier 9 and 10 tank destroyers and artillery? Here that Type 59 says, I do in artillery. I'm like, yeah, I just said that. And it's right here, he's using HE rounds. It's going to be up to this Artie to save us. And right here, he drove out from cover too. He just drove out from his cover when there is an enemy artillery still in play. Yes, it's a tier 5. Yes, it's not that big of a factor. But really, what is he doing? This T28 player is a tier 8 tank destroyer. He should know how to play the game better than this. I don't know exactly what's going through his mind, why he left me to burden so much of our team's weight on my back and try to win it alone in the city when he could have moved up to help me, when I was pretty much left to fend for myself against 4 tanks, managing to kill 2 of them, mind you. And this T28 player is the sole reason we have lost this match. If he had played just slightly better, see, he didn't even get 1 kill before he died. If he had just played a little bit better, we could have won this. Now it is up to this 13F AM to win it for us, but as you just saw right there, and he tried to get that final shot off on that T20, missing the target, and it basically spelling out his doom. I don't believe he will reload in time. I think he's going to die right here very shortly. I can't recall if he gets off 1 more shot, but he's pretty much done. Yeah, there we go. The T20 hitting him in the track, and the T34 finishing him off from behind. So, like I said, I told you, you were going to see why this match just absolutely annoyed the hell out of me. So, apparently that T34 was the guy who killed me. Panzer Psycho ATH. I don't know much about that clan, but, you know, props to him for actually having teamwork with his team. Good job on them for actually moving in on me as a team. I do have to give credit where credit is due. The enemy team did pull it together. They came back from a disadvantageous position, and they won it. Now, at the same time, our T28 lost it for us for playing like a complete noob, but it is what it is. Experience and credits, very good for a defeat. You cannot deny that. I got over 1,000 experience and near 100,000 credits on a loss. So, I don't know how you do that without absolutely carrying the team on your back. It just doesn't happen now. 15 shots out of 19 hitting the target. No base defense, but I did manage to take 14 shots, doing very well for myself. Damaging 4, destroying 3. So both those matches, as you can tell, if you haven't figured out the common theme yet from either the title or the description or what has happened, it is basically me carrying more than my weight. I know that happens a lot, but really this time I was left out on my own to try and win it, and I couldn't do it either time just because the circumstances were so unfavorable to me. But anyway, we're all put in those positions. We all feel my pain. I feel your pain. You feel mine. They were still good games, right? right? Well, if you liked them, click that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. And as always, if you got a replay, send it to spanglereplays@gmail.com. I'm going to start doing 8.0 replays once I get done with my 7.5 replays, which should be by the end of this week. That's it. That's all. This is Spang, signing off.